Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a massive paradigm shift. We're going to look at why abandoning this exhausting everyday hustle for absolute perfection and instead leaning into something called presence is actually the ultimate key to true connection, better leadership, and real personal growth. We're pulling insights from neurobiology, clinical psychology, and even real-world entrepreneurship to map this whole thing out. We so often think that if we just hide our flaws and put up this flawless front, we'll finally be accepted. But psychology points out a pretty brutal irony here. Hiding our true feelings and our messy flaws just to seem perfect, it completely undermines our relationships. It actually leaves us, quite literally, perfectly alone. Section 1. The Perfectionism Trap, Our Internal Struggle. To figure out why this happens, we've got to zoom in to the micro level, our own minds, and think about how wild this is. Researchers estimate that up to 40 or 50% of what we do every single day is pure habit. We are literally living our lives on autopilot. Without even realizing it, we get stuck in these deep mental ruts, and we just accept our own assumptions as hard facts. Well, mindfulness is the direct antidote to that. It's not about achieving some glowing angelic state of zen. It's actually just about waking up to those mindless choices we make every day, so we can finally start making skillful ones. Think of your inner critic, like those two old guys in the balcony of the Muppet Show, Statler and Waldorf, just constantly heckling every little thing you do. That voice, it is absolutely not some logical advisor trying to help you level up. It's just a mindless habit of negativity. And when we take that heckler at face value, it just throws fuel on the fire of our isolating perfectionism. Because let's face it, life is inherently imperfect. The goal here isn't to be a mindfulness master 24/7 or to turn mindfulness into just another impossible standard that you're inevitably going to fail at. The goal is to surf the never-ending waves of real life without adding all these heavy, extra layers of self-judgment. When you mess up, and you absolutely will, you just readjust and try again. It's really about letting go of that picture-perfect ideal. Section 2. Choosing Presence, the Science of Safety. Now let's shift to the interpersonal level, because the hardcore neurobiology behind this is just incredible. Drawing from the ADP journal, we learn about something called therapeutic presence. And look, even if you aren't a therapist, this is absolutely vital. It shows that creating a secure, healing space requires us to focus way more on how we are with someone rather than what techniques we're trying to use on them. By definition, therapeutic presence means bringing your whole authentic self to an encounter. It means being fully grounded and centered in who you are while staying completely receptive to the other person's moment-to-moment experience. It is a fully embodied state, not just a mental exercise. I actually found this fascinating. To understand exactly why this works so well, we have to look at polyvagal theory and a concept called neuroception. You can think of neuroception as your gut's subconscious radar. It's your nervous system constantly, invisibly scanning your environment and the people around you. It's detecting if a situation is genuinely safe or if it's dangerous, way before your conscious brain even has a second to process it. And based on what that radar picks up, our nervous system automatically picks a path. When we feel totally overwhelmed or threatened, boom, we hit the dorsal vagal pathway. We shut down, we freeze up, we disconnect. But when we experience a safe, present connection, it activates the ventral vagal pathway. This is our social engagement system, and it literally allows our nervous systems to calm down and regulate. Which brings us to the absolute magic of co-regulation. We humans are bidirectionally linked. It's almost like we're human tuning forks. If you show up calm and fully present, the other person's brain and body will literally sync up with yours and begin to feel safe. A grounded person can physically calm the nervous system of someone in deep distress. It proves we actually heal and regulate through safe relationships. The really amazing thing here is that you can consciously signal this safety, right brain to right brain, using specific physical markers. We're talking about a rhythmic, soothing tone of voice, a soft facial expression, direct but gentle eye contact, and an open, forward-leaning posture. I mean, check your own posture right now. Are you leaning back? Are you closed off? These nonverbal cues directly broadcast to another person's nervous system, hey, I am here and you are safe. But maintaining this presence requires a continuous, dynamic loop. First, you're receiving and attuning to the other person's cues. Second, you check your own internal physical resonance, like what is your own body feeling right now in response. And third, you respond in a way that keeps that safe, authentic contact going. It is a very active, ongoing cycle of connection. Section 3, Leadership through Relational Presence. Now, scaling this way up to a macro level, we can see how this exact science of safety completely revolutionizes leadership in some of the most high-stakes environments imaginable. According to the Cambridge University Press, nowhere is relational presence more vital than in palliative care nursing. This is a space where intense clinical complexity meets profound existential vulnerability. We're literally talking about matters of life, death, and human dignity. Old school managerial leadership, it's all about workflows, staffing, and rigid hierarchy. But relational leadership is a totally different ballgame. In highly uncertain, deeply vulnerable situations, true influence at the bedside does not come from your formal authority or your title on a chart. It comes from emotional steadiness. It's that rare capacity to remain completely present without just collapsing into panic or urgency. Because of their continuous, steady presence at the bedside, nurses often act as ethical sentinels. They sustain what we call psychological safety. That's the shared belief that a team can openly navigate ambiguity, admit their mistakes, and hash out ethical concerns without any fear of humiliation. And honestly, whether you're in an ICU or a corporate boardroom, without this kind of present leadership, teams just fracture into defensive silence and moral distress. Section 4, The Art of Showing Up. Let's consider the story of the founder of Solace Mania. Back in 2011, as a teenager who had just moved to New Delhi, they felt completely and utterly isolated. But instead of hiding away in their room to try and perfect some flawless persona, they just decided to show up. They wrote a simple letter to a magazine. And that one single act of presence sparked an incredible journey that eventually led them to launch their very own highly successful entrepreneurial platform. Even when their website completely crashed in 2017 in the middle of intense personal struggles, they didn't sit around waiting for the perfect moment. They didn't wait until they had flawless coding skills. They just started building. They used consistency and presence almost like a form of therapy to build their dream. They just showed up imperfectly again and again. And the AEDP journal actually gives us a practical step-by-step toolkit for this. Think of the PRESENCE acronym as a secret weapon. Right before a difficult meeting, a big creative session, or a tough conversation, you just pause, enhance your awareness of breath, sense your inner body, expand your sensory awareness outward, notice what's true without any judgment, center yourself, and then extend contact. It's basically a quick, incredibly powerful reset button for your nervous system. As the author over at Solace Mania points out about photography, the real magic isn't in having the absolute perfect gear or flawless technical skill. The most striking photos are soaked in emotion. And whether you're an entrepreneur, a palliative care nurse, or a photographer, the most powerful results always come from simply observing the ordinary and being fully, completely in the now. The great Maya Angelou once said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." And honestly, that perfectly summarizes the core takeaway from all of our sources in this explainer. True impact in this world isn't about flawless execution. It is entirely about authentic, relational connection. It's about how your genuine presence makes another person's nervous system feel. So I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder as we wrap up. Your flaws do not disqualify you from connection. Hiding them does. The choice is yours. Will you continue the exhausting, isolating pursuit of perfection? Or will you choose the regulating, connective power of presence? How will you choose to show up today?